Alrighty guys, so I'm back again with another video. This video is going to be a bit different. It's going to be a discussion style video. There is a very important thing that I want to cover in this new update. I'm pretty sure a lot of you know what that is already. This is by far one of the biggest updates we have gotten in a while. A meta shakeup update. We got some quality of life changes, map changes for some of the Autohaven maps. We got a nerf to healing, which I'm gonna cover later because I think this is huge for what I want to talk about. And yeah, we got some nerfs to meta perks and buffs to some perks that weren't really used as much. Some changes to some killers add-ons. And most importantly, what stood out to me in this update is the bright light interactions removal. Long story short, what this means is that survivors will no longer be able to use their flashlights to counter certain killers' powers. So killers that had that power are the Wraith, the Nurse, the Artist, and most importantly, the Granny. Alright, and yeah, honestly, in my opinion, out of all the killers here that really suffered from flashlights, apart from Wraith too, but yeah, HAG suffered so much just going even up against one flashlight. If that survivor knows how to use it well and they find you early in the match and they just start following you around and burning your traps, you're gonna have a very hard time, especially if you don't have Franklins, right? So you guys are probably wondering, what are my thoughts on this, and is this gonna buff the HAG or nerf her? So the first thing is that obviously you could feel happy knowing that if you see a whole bunch of flashlights in your match, it's not gonna be a pain. So yeah, that is always a pro. Another pro for me personally, I don't know if this applies for other HAG mains out there, but I almost always had Franklins on deck, right? Franklins was a must in my builds because just dealing with even one flashlight can be a problem. And if you didn't have Franklins, you were just vulnerable to flashlight. I even got asked questions, why do I use Franklins against teams that don't even bring in items? Remember, survivors could open a chest and get lucky enough to get even a yellow flashlight would do damage, right? So I always had Franklins on deck, but now that flashlights are no longer a threat, I can have more variety in my perk builds. And that was one of my biggest pet peeves with playing HAG. I had to sacrifice a perk slot, right? But now I have more variety. I can maybe bring in Sloppy Butcher or some other perks, you know, so that's really nice. That's a major pro for me, and maybe for you as well if you were using Franklins. But now this is where it kind of gets complicated with this whole change. So because flashlights no longer counters your traps, pretty much they added a extra counterplay to HAG here, where survivors can crouch over your trap and then they can pretty much remove the trap. So they get like a little interaction where they could just clear away the trap. I don't know how long that's gonna take. Maybe it could be 2 to 3 seconds, 3 to 4 seconds, I don't know. Hopefully it's about the same time it takes for the HAG to place your trap down. They do say, you know, they wanted to add this to ensure that HAG is not too oppressive. But then again, I think about matches where I've faced teams without flashlight and they played really well. Does that make HAG oppressive? Like, I don't get it. So yeah, this is where it's kind of confusing for me personally. It's like if you load in a match and you see up to 4 flashlights, you're gonna be like, okay, all right, you know, I don't have to worry about them burning my traps. You know, it's gonna take them more time to crouch over and clear the trap. So that's more time waste on them instead of them having a flashlight and instantly being able to find them, wave the flashlight around and burn it. But now it's just gonna take them just a little bit longer to get rid of the trap. So that's fine. But now it's like, damn, if you load in a match and no one has a flashlight, you know now that all 4 survivors can just clear your traps, when this wasn't the case before. I don't know whether to call it a buff or a nerf. I feel like when you're in like a decent MMR, if survivors know where your traps are, they're gonna perfectly just run to the trap, distance themselves perfectly, so that if you do teleport, you're not gonna get an insta hit, right? That's gonna waste a lot less time on their part instead of them crouching to the trap, spending time to clear the trap. So I don't know, it's very strange. I don't think it'll hurt HAG in solo queue. Maybe it'll be more beneficial for them in a Swift. But yeah, that's my overall opinion on it. I really don't know. But there is another buff in this update, apart from the flashlights, that I think is really, really important and is gonna benefit the HAG a lot. And that is healing. So if you play HAG, you have been in that situation where you are defending a 3-gen, because HAG is a defending killer. She defends either someone on the hook or she defends generators. That's what she does best. She defends, right? So there are times, me personally, where I'm in a 3-gen situation and I'm just dishing out injures, right? And because the survivors have medkits, or they might have a boon on the other side of the map, they will just retreat quickly to where they feel is safe. They will heal quickly and then push back in. And I'm like, bro, I just hit this person. How the hell did they heal that fast? And you're like, damn, bro, I wish I could just get a little more breathing room just to set up a trap or two, or smack a generator. Yeah, now that healing is gonna take 24 seconds instead of 16 by base, I feel this is going to give you more breathing room in those scenarios where you are just in a very sticky spot. So now that it takes 24 seconds for a survivor to heal, you're just going to have a little bit more time to just set up traps if survivors run to the other side to heal up, or smack generators, or, you know, just make you calm down a little bit, because it can get crazy when you got 3 or 4 survivors pushing in your web, triggering your traps. You got to teleport, hit one, and your traps are just going off left, right, and center, right? So that could be a real problem, and this is just going to give you a little more breathing room. I feel, honestly, they might even tone 24 seconds down, maybe to 20. Like, I don't think they're going to go with the 24 seconds, but yeah, they also remove some of the charges on medkits, so I believe survivors only get 1 heal from them, which is nice. So now the only time you will catch me bringing in Franklin's is if I see a whole lot of medkits, and here's why. So the perk boon Circle of Healing caught a pretty big nerf, in my opinion. And thank God. This perk, honestly, was the most annoying perk, apart from Dead Hard, to go against, especially with HAG. And the reason why with HAG it's really annoying is because HAG, usually you're controlling one section of the map, right? So if you are going up against a team, they usually like to set their boon on the opposite side from where they know you are controlling. So when you injure a survivor, they will run to the other side of the map as a safe point, run to the boon, heal up, and come back. While that person is healing, the other 3 survivors are pushing generators. But now that boon Circle of Healing will no longer allow survivors to heal without a medkit, so they need a medkit now in order to heal inside of Circle of Healing. This is huge, because if that survivor you injure doesn't have a medkit, they will now need another teammate to heal them up. So instead of 3 survivors on a gen, there are only going to be 2. So it cuts down on their efficiency. It gives you more breathing room to set up traps. Maybe you could set up 3 to 4 traps. Maybe you could smack a generator, and by the time they heal and the other 2 survivors are pushing in, the generator regresses by a little bit, and you could just, you know, just start to build back up momentum. Because sometimes in a match, especially when you're holding down a 3-gen, it could get crazy sometimes, man. So I feel this is a huge change. But where this perk kind of confuses me is like, okay, so the survivor needs a medkit to heal by themselves in the boon. So does that medkit have to have charges? Can, like, for example, if a survivor gets injured and they run to a teammate who has a medkit that's empty, maybe that teammate could just drop the medkit on the floor. That survivor picks up the medkit, runs to the boon, and heals up on their own. You know what I mean? Those are the kind of things I'm thinking about. I feel now Sloppy Butcher is gonna be absolutely insane. I feel I'm gonna, instead of Franklin, Sloppy might be like the go-to perk on her. But yeah, extra slow heals and longer it takes for survivors to heal up is the more time you have to set up, right? You really don't want to risk being injured in a HAG's web. But yeah, that is my overall thoughts on this upcoming update. Let me know in the comment section if you think this is a buff or a nerf to the HAG. And yeah, guys, we will see you next week. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.